Thank you. Everybody has set the stage for what I'm going to be talking now, and mine is a pure hands-on practitioner's viewpoint. I'll be talking about customer is king, truly, responsiveness in the age of technology. So my entire learning and my experience is about being responsive to the customer. So I first talk about the customer. Now there is a shift that all of us are living. And this shift is that the customers today are more informed, they are more connected, and their expectations have risen. It's happened to all, not just our customers, but it's also including us as individuals. The learning curves have become shorter, and the customers have they have lesser patience now than they ever did. Now the best thing here is that the industry lines have blurred, which means that when a customer compares a company with another company, he's comparing the best experience of a particular function. So I'll just take Amazon for example. When we're talking about delivery, Amazon has set certain delivery standards. So whether we are dealing with a bank or we are dealing with an apparel or we've ordered something, we still think of delivery in that manner. So the lines between industries now have blurred, and we are now not benchmarking ourselves against our competitors, that is against people who are from our own industry, but the best in any industry, because that's the last experience that the customer has had. Now coming next to technology. Now technology is an enabler, but not a replacer. It might sound strange, because most of us in our minds have it that when we have technology, we will reduce the number of people. But technology has definitely helped us, everybody sitting here, again as individuals also. So technology has made things faster, with scale, with consistency, and with data. As well as it has made all transactions more efficient. So the intention of technology should not be just to automate or to reduce human beings or to reduce human work, but it should be to enhance responsiveness. So when we talk about enhancing responsiveness, we are talking about better resolutions, more empathy. Now I'll just give you an example of what I'm trying to place here. If we are dealing with a chatbot, for example, so if 5 times I'm asking a certain question and I'm getting the same answer, that's one way of doing it. The other one is that when I'm talking to a voice bot, it's not able to pick that I'm irritated and I'm angry. And that's where this responsiveness comes. So we need to use technology to support better service and to improve resolution. So what exactly is responsiveness? Responsiveness is trust in action. So here what happens is that the customer decides, we may talk big things, but the customer decides whether we truly are listening as a company and whether we truly care. So responsiveness is not about giving a great response. That is, a very good polished English with just the right words. And it's also not about the speed. It's not that, I've just sent a mail and I get an immediate response saying that, we will get back to you in so much time. So it's neither about speed nor is it about the language. But responsiveness, I'll give you an example. About 2 days back, 2-3 days back, one of my friends called me and she was a victim of an attempted fraud. She just about managed to save her money. She went to a bank branch and, she expected them to do certain things. Some actions they took immediately, and some they said that they would get back, they needed to do, put her debit card in place, etc. Now for 10 days, nothing great happened. So if you really look at it, what were her expectations? Her expectations were that somebody understood her, that somebody did what they had committed that they would do. And that is what responsiveness is all about. And now when we talk about technology and responsiveness, which actually means reputation in a way, because every transaction that the customer does is building reputation for a company. Now, even when we talk about digital, we'll say that, okay, we have products which are completely digital. There is absolutely no human intervention. But even in a digital journey, a customer expects some kind that he's understood. The customer expects that the experience is a human experience, even in a fully digitized setup. So fintechs, banks, so somewhere in our minds, we tend to think that technology means that the human interaction or human experience has to reduce, and which is not the way it should be. Another example of technology and reputation, and I'm talking about technology because that's the path that we are taking and we think there's a way out over there, is that how easy it is for any customer of any organization to reach the company itself. So are we stuck in an IVR that keeps taking us round and round, or are we stuck in a chatbot, or with all the artificial intelligence that we have, are we stuck somewhere? So reaching a company itself is very important, and I'll actually talk to you about many years ago. I just remembered there was a time when we used to actually take newspapers, buy newspapers and see, is there some mention about us somewhere? That's the kind of, that's how we used to track reputation. Now with all these modern ways of doing it and with all the social media in place, what's very important is that the customer is able to reach the company, and only after the customer reaches the company will the next step of responsiveness start. So humanizing interactions is very central, and one we need to remember is that human beings haven't changed in the last God knows 1,000 years, because there are 3 events broadly when people require another human experience. And one is when you're buying something new, when you're doing something new, that's when you're onboarding, that's when a person needs help. The second is when you're in trouble. Even when Google Maps don't work and we're stuck on the road somewhere, we need a human experience. We need some kind of human to interact with us. And third is when we are, of course, parting ways. So interactions need to be humanized, and the companies need to become more responsive. Now these are transactions, so these are one-on-one transactions where trust keeps getting built up. But there are some things, and which I very strongly believe in, which I'll share with you now, is how companies can hold this thing together, because it's all a long-term thing. Reputation is not a one-day event. It's a very long-term thing. So here there are 4 pillars which I think that every company needs to follow for sustenance of reputation. The first one is organizational intent. So what is the intention of the organization? Now this will come from, there needs to be clarity from the person who's right at the top, and Renu spoke about that, is that intention has to pass on till the last person who's actually dealing and delivering. So there is this entire line of clarity, and if there is clarity, it gets communicated in that particular manner. The second important thing is, and I'll give you an example of American Express. I've been dealing with them for the last 10 years, and every time I make a call, they make sure that there is a resolution. They are not measuring, is it taking average handle time, is it 10 seconds, is it 2 minutes? Even if it takes 15 minutes to complete something, they take that kind of time. That means somewhere the management or the leadership has informed or has clarified that that is the intent. The second thing is conducive structure. So it's just not enough to have a good intent expressed. What is also important is that the structure is conducive to deliver that intent. So do you have a person in the company who represents the customer? Are there good listening posts that feedback can be collected and action can be taken? So conducive structure is the second thing which empowers people to act and have smooth transition of the work that they're doing. The third important thing is contextual measurement. So are we measuring in context? That means for an American Express, is it important to understand whether resolution has happened? Or is it important for them to know, okay, my average handle time has been so much. So are we measuring that which is easily available, or are we measuring that which is useful to a company? Now coming to the last bit is a culture of continuous improvement. So no company which is of any repute thinks that, yes, I have arrived and now I'm done. there has to be a culture of continuous improvement, which again depends upon leadership behavior as to what questions leaders are asking and how this has to be taken forward. So these pillars are very important to take and to sustain the reputation that has been built and how it can be improved. And last but not the least, I'll just summarize it by saying that responsiveness is not a task, it's a mindset. And it shows whether we value customers' time, their trust, and their voice. So it's just not action, it actually needs that kind of feeling that the customer should have that, yes, this particular company values me. And being responsive is the clearest proof that customer is king, and that still holds true.
Thank you, Satinder.